why are you succeeding? Exactly what did you wear that day? Where did you park that day? And if you can replicate everything that is your best day in quoting business and getting deals, why change that, right? It's
Exactly.
super email. So you've hired, you said, hundreds of different territory sales managers over the years, Pat. What are some of the things, maybe the top, maybe three or four things that you know when it doesn't work out? What are those things when it doesn't work out? Because you don't hire hundreds of people and every single one of them works out. What are those
That's
sort
right.
of pitfalls that you come across?
So you'll start to see where they just want a 9 to 5. They don't want to put in the effort. They expect the company to kind of lead run, give them leads, and their morale will kind of jump off. And you'll see that victim mentality that the flyer doesn't work, or you know, just a lot of competition. And I get all that stuff, right? But you'll start to really see that kind of turn downward, and then you'll see their leads. And that's where I'll actually, sometimes we'll have good people do that too. You know what I mean? And they'll get in that bad week. And
Yeah.
that's where you got to jump in the vehicle with them and say, hey man, let me show you what we got going on. Let me support you. But it's been the people who really, they don't realize what it takes. Sales is not easy by no
Right.
means, right? I mean, you got a lot of factors. You need to think of that territory as your own business. Like, this isn't a 9 to 5. You're gonna have to work a little bit longer. People are working. You might have to call at 7 o'clock at night. My really good executors have actually been business owners that actually came to us because they wanted to work for a reputable company, and they wanted something that was systemized where they didn't have to really go out and recreate their own wheel. And so those guys are willing to put it in, and they track. You'll notice that my top sales guys, they literally have a filing cabinet of every lead, and they've been crazy, man. I mean, like, there's some times where I hired this one guy. He was well, I'll tell you a little story. So we threw flyers in this neighborhood a bunch of times, right? And this guy, he was a procrastinator. We cleaned his neighbor's roof, and finally he calls me, and he's an awesome guy, Jody Stedman, and he's a retired lieutenant colonel in the military. So like, he's like, top level, right? He's like, man, he's like, I want you to come clean my roof, but I just want to do the front side of it. And he was really picky about everything. I'm like, well, sir, we don't just do the front side because it's an airborne sport. It jumps from roof to roof, and you definitely want to get your neighbors so you get longevity. And he was like, so I'm kind of selling him on this whole thing. He's like, all right, come on out. So I come out, and we ended up doing his roof, and we did the whole thing, by the way. And so he calls me up maybe a week later. He's like, man, I can really sell this. I want to come sell for you. And I
Nice.
was like, all right, so tell me about yourself. So he was retired, just wanted to kind of get out of the house and do something. And I was like, man, we have a company vehicle, drive around, throw flyers, and measure some homes. And he's like, dude, that sounds awesome. Well, come to find out, he was selling, but we have a lot of military in our area in Greenville, right? And so he would relate to them, which is fine, but his average ticket was like $450. And so he came to me one week, and this is like, he did well in the training, and like, he got out, but he was like, Pat, he's like, I'm working like late, I'm flying like crazy, and I'm only making 15.40 an hour. Like, he had it down to the penny. And I'm like, well, Jody, I mean, I've been kind of telling you about the tickets, and you're not doing the 3 packages, you're just doing 1 package, and you're really like working for the customer. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? And like, he starts getting loud, and my wife's in the office, right? And so he starts raising his voice. And have you guys ever heard of the tone scale? Have you heard about that, where you have to like literally raise your voice so he can hear you? And so this is way back when, and we're like yelling at each other in front of my office. And I'm like, Jody, you gotta do the 3 packages. And like, he's like, we started going back and forth. He's like, all right, I'll do it your way, and you'll see. Well, I'm gonna be out of here. I'm not gonna make any money, and like all this stuff. And I'm like, you're gonna make more money. And like, we're yelling back and forth. And so my wife's like cracking the door open and everything. Like, what's going on
You
out
can't
there?
handle the truth.
That's right. And so I was like kind of nervous because he was like yelling, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going to happen here. So anyway, he jumps in the sales car and he leaves. Well, he calls me back later on that day and sold a $1,200 job because he did the packages the way the system's supposed to go. $2,200 job, $3,000 job. Boom. He started, literally, he had a $2,200 paycheck like the next week. No joke.
Nice.
Because he started following the system. And so sometimes people don't believe in the system or they don't see it. And that's why that first territory manager is really, really hard. You've got to show them the fruit of the labor, that kind of stuff. And that's why I do Sales Boost every year. I bring all my licensee guys, all come. My territory managers are there, and I really open it up and show everybody, like, this is the system, like, and it works.